first thing that happens is reactivity. Something's happening external. What's the fight or flight? What's the instinct, which is the root chakras, to react to the situation? And that's only in 2, maybe 3 ways. The first is to fly away or to run away, flight. The other is to fight. And then the third is to freeze and do absolutely nothing. And typically the freeze and the flight are like maybe steps. They'll freeze first, then try to fly. Typically a person that freezes doesn't go into fight, but sometimes that happens too. But those 2 basic ones, fight or flight, is the instinct response, and it's the yin and the yang representation of the same reaction, which is fear. Someone's going to be afraid and stand down. Yang principle is to attack, and then the yin is to... So you understand, first of all, like, what's my composition? Am I more yang or am I more yin? And then based on that, you understand what your antidote is. It's the reconciliation of the yin and the yang. Always the polarity is what creates harmony. The synergistic polarity of those 2 corresponding in a way that support each other. Yang supports yin, yin supports yang. And then you see that in relationships. Like, there are some relationships where the woman supports the man and the man's supporting the woman. They're like there for each other, you know, in different ways, but complementary. And then there's other relationships where it's like they're both neglecting each other or attacking each other or rejecting each other, which is the same thing as attacking in a way. So where's that energy going? It's like just exhausting. Exactly. Yeah. And you feel tired all the time. A relationship should be a regenerating time because you guys are filling up each other's, through electromagnetism, you guys are rebalancing each other when you're together. That's how it really should be for it to be harmonious. If you're exhausted by your partner, it's a telltale that it's the energy is being expended in a way that's not beneficial for either. And one person can't benefit while the other person is not. So sometimes people stay in relationships because they're like, oh, well, I can't, you know, I'm going to, like, the person needs me or something. It goes both ways. It has to. You think maybe the person's benefiting, or maybe they think superficially that they are, but both are being expended. I think it was really my relationship with my father and mother, you know, in the individuation process of going through all of the traumas, and really having to look at like what's there, and the subconscious was the beginning of it, right? So I'm like getting into this field of work. You can't have a practitioner or a teacher teach these things or be a facilitator of healing if they haven't ventured into that area, really lived in those areas, and became very intimate with that process. So as you're going along and you're working with others, you have to commit to the process wholeheartedly yourself, which, I mean, it's an amazing process, but it is like the quintessential dark night of the soul. And you're like, okay, well, if I'm going to do this work with others, then I'm not going to be a hypocrite about it. I'm going to do the work myself. And so it was mother, father, their dynamic, my anima, animus, the masculine and feminine parts of myself, and then how I'm relating with the opposite sex, which was my daughter's father. And polarity. Talk about polarity, like complete opposites. Until you realize at some point in this individuation process, oh my God, he's literally me. Like he is me. I am him. When you get really honest with yourself, you see that that person is you. Especially if there's enough polarity where you're like actively rejecting something, it's because it's in you. And so in this process, you know, working with clients, it's eventually we're going to get into those areas. There is nothing that's going to be left covered. Just goes as deep as the person wants to go.